Now, I'm in the same boat that I assume many woodwork hobbyists or DIY hobbyists in the UK probably are, where I've only got one power outlet in my workshop, which in my case is a one-car garage. I currently work around this by running an extension lead behind the fixed workbench. I can wrap all the excess cord against this, and this provides me with two movable power outlets, into which I normally have the air compressor connected. And if you're concerned about all the number of wires on the floor, the compressor usually lives inside the box on the workbench, but it's currently being used for a garden project where I need the nail gun outside, and I'm editing that video at the minute. The other power outlet is then used for my shop vac, which is built into my mobile workbench. So I chose a shop vac that has a power through feature built in that also turns on the extraction when a tool plugged into it is powered on. My table saw is usually plugged into this, which 90% of the time is fine, but when I need to change to another tool, it can be a real pain to have to pull out the vac, unplug it, and replug in a new tool. The obvious solution to this is to add an extension cord, but I was concerned that a normal one might run the risk of overloading the circuit if it had a few tools plugged in. So I chose an extension lead that allows each outlet to be individually isolated. That way I can ensure only the outlet in use is live when a tool is being used. I spent an extensive amount of time, 30 to 40 seconds on Amazon researching which would be best. And I was pretty happy actually with the quality of the thing that arrived in the end. I tested in a few different positions to see where I wanted to mount it, and once I decided on that, I could test it just to check it worked. So with that confirmed, I could feed the extension lead back through the workbench, and I could struggle far more than I should have to get it back through the gap. No one was even here to witness this, but I still felt I should apologise to someone for this embarrassment, but ultimately common sense prevailed, and I got it fed back through. Now, I've no doubt you'll have seen this method of mounting things a million times before, but to get this mounted to the workbench, I'm going to use the old tape trick. So, if you haven't seen this trick before, you take a bit of tape, you stick it to the back of whatever it is you're trying to mount, and then you can either draw or poke, as I'm going to do, I'm going to poke holes where the mounting points are. You can then take that tape, you can stick it where it needs to be on the workbench, and I'm going to pre-drill through these holes to know where the screws need to go. With that done, you can put the screws in, and you should leave them just proud of the surface so that the extension lead has something to hook onto. It's then just a case of taking the extension lead, lining up the mounting points, and hooking it on. Much to my own surprise, this actually seemed to work perfectly first time. It didn't need any adjustment, as I prove here with my ceremonious taps. So at that point, everything's done, and you just need to plug everything back in. I started with the table saw, which again unfortunately involved a fight with the gap. So it's not the best looking solution that exists, but if you're like me and you can't afford an electrician and you'd probably kill yourself if you tried to wire new outlets yourself, it's a very functional solution. So you can see here how it's made the process of using and setting up another tool much faster than it would have been without this extension cord in place. Anyway, if you're a fan of low quality videos that might contain one useful tip here or there, feel free to subscribe, or you can let me know in the comments one of the many things I probably did wrong.